Hello, good day. This is Jonro
And Joni.
of JIP Migrate once again coming back to you, welcoming you to our JIP podcast where we deliver latest news and educational materials on migration, and indeed it's going to be latest news that we're going to cover for today, which might be very interesting to all who are wanting to migrate. And this is going to be a topic about East Germany. So there's East Germany, so there's West Germany as well, by the way. So we're gonna be learning a little bit about that. We did find out about this news just today, and we found it very interesting. So you know what? In migration, the political landscape really influences the migration policies of all Europe. All right. So right now, at its status, a lot of countries here in Europe are leaning more to the right winged. All right. So if you don't know what that means, that actually means more of the conservatives. You know, there are parties, government parties, yes. So they have to both vote for either left or right. You know, kind of give and take. All right, kind of idea. And a lot of countries that you would not expect to have right winged government would actually are actually rising up right now, including Germany, especially East Germany. All right, we're gonna be learning more about that later. But anyway, just a quick update of what's going on right now. It is indeed a very good day. Quite warm now, very good weather. Actually, it's a weekend, and lots of people and families are just hanging around there here outside. Okay, so if you can hear, we're actually here outside, and there's probably a football match there. I can hear some drumming there. Is that correct?
I think because there were
They're cheering, cheering for their teams,
they
isn't
were
it?
wearing uniforms.
They were wearing uniforms. So apparently, Saturday is always usually their football match or something like that. Yeah, I can hear some whistling there. So everyone's happy. Weather is great. You know, birds are chirping. Everything's awesome, and we just had our grocery. Actually, how much do you think that would be? Probably €5 all in all, isn't it?
Yes, for 2 days.
Don't say 2 days, okay? They're gonna think that we're we're cheapskates, but we are. Yeah, admittedly, we're cheapskates. €5. We already had like what bread. Actually, it's good bread. 500 grams of bread, half a kilo of what do you call that? Sourdough bread. Yeah, it's not white, not white bread.
I think it's healthier than the whole wheat bread.
Oh, it's even healthier than the whole wheat grain bread. So that's good. We had fish and cheese and ham. So those kind of stuff. All for like €5, €6 max. Because we're planning to travel again to northeast of Germany, and we're gonna be in for a very long ride. How many hours is that? 8 hours,
I
isn't
think
it?
yes.
8 hours, and you know, guys, how much that is for us? It's like €4. Not €4 each, okay? It's for both of us. It's because I'm blind, so I do get those perks. So it's really fun to travel that way. If they give you really good discounts, we can. It's a sleeper train, is it?
Yeah, because it's gonna be starting
Overnight.
Overnight, yes.
Yeah, and we're gonna be sleeping around there. It's gonna be fun as we usually do. It's more fun now because we don't have to bring jackets anymore. So that's really good news. We're gonna be visiting some friends, and yeah, just spending time there. It's because it's better weather now. All right, so enough with the chitter chatter and updates. Let's watch some sponsored video before we go to the topic.
Okay, let's. I think I have moved the file.
All right, no sponsored video for today.
Sorry.
All right, anyway, it's okay. We can because we can't let go of this topic. It's really fresh, really good, and really interesting, especially for those who are thinking of migrating again. Like last time, as we have mentioned and discussed, the important thing for migration is for you to know which side are you on, right? Because migration isn't, well, honestly, migration is not for everyone. You know, to be honest, the countries here in Europe would only admit people who would of course benefit the economy or in some other way, like science, research, or anything like that, or it has to be benefit basically. So we've been covering those kind of topics so that more people would be educated more honestly as well, because here in JIP Migrate, the podcasts, we try to be very educational. We try to be honest instead of just hyping everything up. Then later on you're gonna be finding out that it's not for you. We want like real education. So to be honestly speaking to everyone, the whole European Union have been really changing its political landscape and its policies on migration. So it's very good, and it's actually best to keep up with the news about this, because from there you will find out if you're still on the right side of migration, right? So yeah, those are what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be also talking about what does East Germany mean and West Germany, because there's a historical concept there. We're going to be covering that, and how it is right now currently. All right, so I think Joni would be sharing to you some stuff, so hopefully this one had not been moved. Okay. All right, so yeah, please.
Okay, let's start. Just when hostile feelings against immigrants were gaining ground, far-right parties are becoming more and more popular. They claim that immigrants are a threat to the country. That's a common sentiment in Dresden, one of the biggest cities in the eastern German state of Saxony. While the state's beautiful old towns may attract tourists from across the world, it has a dark side. Populist far-right parties are strong here. Nowhere did anti-immigration parties get more votes in the 2021 general election than in Saxony.
There you go. So you see, quite heavy news, especially today. Actually, this has been growing since before 2021, the last election. Actually, election is coming up, by the way, guys, and we are getting lots of what do you call that? Election campaigns in our mailbox, even in front of our door.
Lots and lots.
And even the ballots, right? The ballots,
Yes.
they're delivering it to our mailbox. But anyway, so election is coming up again, and in the case of Germany, apparently the right-winged party is gaining lots of momentum, which would lead to a successful election of the right-wing party. So what does that mean? Well, the far right, especially far right-wing party, is more of the what do you call that? Conservatives. I almost lost the word. Conservatives. All right. So they would rather prioritize their citizens. This kind of more traditional kind of mentality in the politics. So naturally they would have negative feelings with migration. They would not, they're not very welcoming to migrants. So this is what's going on with Germany right now, and not only in Germany actually. So as I've told you, the whole European Union have had a shift in the towards the far right, among countries like Denmark, even
Like Hungary, like what we have in our previous podcast.
yes, Hungary especially. Actually, Hungary had maintained their government, but their policies have more
Strict.
moved going to the right and the conservative side, where they don't really welcome migrants anymore. Do you remember what our issue last time was? That what was the latest news on Hungary last time?
When the immigrant doesn't have a valid work permit, they need to go outside, go back to their home country after 6 days.
Yeah, after 6 days, not even 7 days.
Not even a week.
So they say 6 days, so you won't be thinking that it's 1 week. So that's one. Hungary. Sweden is also getting into those kind of policies, especially after some trouble with the immigrants actually. But when we say immigrants, like for example in the case of Sweden, the trouble comes from violent immigrants, violent minorities who form gangs, and hold weapons that they shouldn't be holding in public. right? And threatening people. So, that's a big problem right now in Sweden. And actually, Denmark is following their footsteps. They're kind of closing their doors a bit tighter from immigrants. And now we're talking about Germany. So, what do we mean by East Germany? Is there East Germany, West Germany? Yes. Historically, after the World War II, 1945, the Allies, the party who won, the Americans, the French, the Brits, the British. So when they won the war, Hitler, died. He killed himself. Germany was actually divided into parts, all right, to prevent them from getting stronger again and building up army again, because that's what happened in World War One. They after World War One, they built up an army strong enough to commence World War Two. So that's what happened. Now they really did it a bit stronger this time. The Allies, they divided up Germany so that they won't build up power again. All right, so they divided up basically into West and East Germany. So the West are mostly Americans, French, British, different parts of regions. All right. Now the East is especially curious and peculiar, I guess, because East Germany, all right, would be controlled by. Can you guess who?
The Russians.
Russians, yes, from the Allies. Actually, the Allies were allied with the Russians before. So the east part of Germany was controlled by the Russians. They call it GDR. All right, we're not gonna go too deep into that, but it's a very different culture. Actually, that's where the Berlin Wall comes in very strongly, because that's actually what physically divides the West and the East. All right, it's a physical wall, divides West to East, and the Western culture is actually very different. The Eastern culture has their own things. You know what? This is just testimonies from our friends actually before, who lived in the East, and we have talked to the West. People who have lived in the West, and the west side of Germany actually said they had more freedom there. Like shops are more filled, businesses are a bit more welcome, right? So they're kind of starting up with a bit more democratically,
They would even describe it as the other side has lights and the other
has
side
more lights. Yeah.
Yes.
The west side has more lighting,
Yeah.
lights, and the east side, which we're about to discuss now, the east side that hardly has any lights because of the electricity outages,
Yes.
and shops. What were the shops like before?
Like very little items,
Right,
yeah.
in small amounts, and they had to really queue. They have to fall in queue, a very long queue, just to get meat, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they
And
had money.
they had money but they cannot buy anything with their money because
Yeah.
it's been controlled.
Yeah, the items are rationed, I guess. That's what we get from our German friends and Polish friends actually, and people from the east as well.
Like
So
per family they can only buy 1 kilo for the whole family.
1 kilogram, huh? For a family.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I don't think I can live with that. So they do have the money, they do have the power to buy, but they just can't buy stuff because there's nothing to buy, right? So well, those are the testimonials that we get from their history, because they really lived with that on that era, until the Berlin Wall got destroyed. Actually, it was broken down intentionally so that Germany would be unified again. All right, but that's a topic for another story. But yeah, so that's East and West Germany. So it would tell you right now, 30 years later, the culture still has not been unified, I guess. Not totally unified. So the East Germany would think rather differently. So as we can see in this case, they're more they're more leaning to the right wing, where they want to keep Germany for Germans. Actually, Johnny will be reading about this party, the government party, and their name, and what they stand for. So basically, they're conservatives. They don't want too much immigrants because that's in their philosophy or in their belief, it would destroy their economy or something like that. You know, they probably have some points, but it's never too good to be extreme. You know, you have to find some kind of balance in between.
Balance.
Right, right, right.
Yes.
You can never be too left or too right, because if you go on extremes, that's where you get trouble. There's always trouble, right? That's what
Yes.
happened in World War II,
Yeah.
1930s, 29, 30. um, Hitler, when he rose up, right? It was very, very radical. It was very conservative. They wanted Germany for Germans, and they wanted to whole Europe actually for
For
Germans.
Germans.
So that's what happens. All right, that's the history. But of course, it's up to you. Everyone has political views. We're just covering some of the top, I guess, topic. What do you call that? Topical views of people. All right. We're not saying one side is wrong, one side is right. It's just history that we're talking about here. You can research more about that topic. So anyway, let's move on to our next reading so that we can learn about this government party rising up.
The populist far-right AFD party is expected to get the most votes of any party in Saxony's regional elections next year. Anti-immigrant sentiments are more widespread in the states located in former East Germany. The Germany Democratic Republic, the GDR,
DDR.
was less marked by immigration than the Federal Republic of Germany in
FDR.
West Germany.
Mhm.
There was a slower process of acclimatization to migration. There was less immigration in the GDR, and the few immigrants were isolated, so there wasn't much of an opportunity to get used to the immigration in East Germany. But Germany needs skilled migrants.
There you go. So that's the name of their party, AFD, Alternative für Deutschland. In English, it's Alternative for Germany. No, so they're kind of the alternative, because right now it's a bit more left wing, liberal party who's ruling the country now.
Okay.
All right, so AFD is rising up. It's in popularity. It's actually projected that they might win the election. So what does that mean? If they win the election, then of course policies on migration would definitely differ, because this is a party that views immigration negatively. They don't want migrants. They want to again have Germany for Germans, which is, I guess, kind of good in some ways. But if you go extreme, it's never gonna be too good, right?
Yes.
Right. So if they win, most probably, and you have to listen to this, guys. Most probably, a lot of immigrants would be kicked out. That's the projection. Most probably, either kicked out, or after their last working permit or something like that, temporary residence, they'll be kicked out eventually, something like this. And opportunities like business, employment, education would be more for the actual citizens, Germans. All right, I don't know how far it extends, to what extension. Are those just for racial Germans or something like that, or citizens who hold the passport of Germany? We're not sure yet. Okay, that goes very deep, and you can research that for your own. We're not recommending anything here. All right, but we're just saying that on the polls and the surveys, if this party gets into power, then a lot of migration policies would be negatively impacted. They would not welcome more immigrants, and the immigrants that are now living in Germany would probably be kicked out, like in Hungary. Right?
Yes.
So that's gonna be kind of where the future would be pointing to. All right. So as you can see there, GDR, the East Germany, they've always had this mentality, and the FDR, the West, they've had an opposite mentality where they want more migrants to come in. And as Joni have said, Germany, under the AFD rule, they want more skilled migrants. That's why it's very important for you to know, are you not only skilled. When you say skilled, we usually would think about like skilled jobs, like blue collar jobs, carpentry or welding or something like that. Not necessarily. All right, so what they mean here, the general arc of this is, when you migrate, if you migrate, are you going to be a benefit for countries in Europe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be a benefit, or are you going to be a burden? Because either side, all right, that you're going to be in would definitely impact your application for residency, and that's what JIP Migrate would help you with. We definitely would comply to the law and find the best solutions that are not immediately visible to common people, right?
Yeah.
That is what JIP Migrate is our experts with. We find the right legal solutions that are not usually visible for common people. So you can trust JIP Migrate would be always updated with all of these laws and comply and find the best solutions suited for your situation. All right, so and but anyway, also going back to that, if AFD would rule, would be elected next year, Germany would also influence, because Germany is a very big influence in the European Union.
Yes.
Very big. Like Germany and France are the biggest ones. So if Germany would go for right wing, it would definitely have a big influence on the overall European Union policies for migration, because they're gonna be having votes, and Germany would be kind of leaders. They've always been leaders in the European Union, right? So
Mm-hmm.
their policies, if if the AFD would be ruling, then their policies would apply even to the whole 31 countries of Europe. So yeah, that's kind of the where the future is leading to. And yeah, what are your thoughts on this? Would you want the AFD to to be elected next year, for your opinion?
I have no opinion on this yet.
You know what? Me too. I don't know, right? We're just here to help people migrate, and whatever it is, there's always a way. There's always a way. Even if it's a conservative party would be sitting in the government, there would always be a way, and JIP Migrate would be there to help, right? It
Yeah,
would be
we're
there.
just here to give you the updates
The
so that
updates.
you will know what to do on your migration.
Yes, exactly, because you have to know what you're expecting for, because when, like, in this video, actually there were interviews, right? And some of them don't feel welcomed anymore.
But some of them, they do.
They do, huh? They do. Yeah, but in the interviews, there was this Indian woman. She doesn't feel welcomed anymore. Some of the people from Dresden um, are not welcoming her as an immigrant, even after she's been there for how many years? 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
So there's still that mentality, she even said that they don't know me, but they hated me. So that's from her mouth. That's what she said. So maybe that's going to be the future. We don't know. All right, we just want to hope for the best, I guess. We don't really know. We don't really have an opinion or recommendation regarding this. We're just bringing you the latest news so that you would know what to expect, especially next year if you're like planning to migrate. We have lots of applicants coming from the US. They've been mentioning Germany. They really like Germany. Remember this family? She used to be the lady used to be in Germany and wanted to come back. So JIP Migrate is helping her with that, to bring her family back, because apparently, where was she? Colorado. She doesn't like Colorado. Yeah, for personal reasons, I guess. So JIP Migrate will be helping her. So we can help you as well. To all that's listening, we can help you as well with your migration situation. Every situation is unique, and JIP Migrate are experts in finding out what the best solutions are for you. All right. So anything else to add?
I think that's all.
Want to migrate to Europe?
Contact JIP Migrate.
We enable possibilities for those who are ready to move. Thank you so much for listening to the JIP podcast, and see you on the next one.
Bye.